You need to get off yourself and get on purpose. It's not about you.
I want to be careful, not that I'm trying to turn losers into winners, but turning winners into champions.
Right.
There is some people who think they are losers,
Yes.
but they're actually winners.
Yes. The biggest work that I do is I really help my clients to gain the belief in their value. And you believe it or not, these are also high-level people that sometimes question their own value and their own worth.
You know, there's so many people today that have a perception of themselves.
Right.
And we both know the reality is, you know, people see you the way you see you.
True.
So if I see myself as not of value, right? And sometimes people see themselves as not of value is because they haven't invested enough in themselves and put enough value in them to have a worth, right?
That's right.
When you grow, you want to stop people from feeling something that they don't have to. Would you say that that affects how you do business today?
You are a CEO. Your moments come to show. Lead your life with faith and flow. You are CEO. It's true. Yeah.
Could you imagine going outside in an alleyway and going into a dumpster to look inside and find bars of gold? Well, when you think about certain treasures in life, the last place that you would go to look is the trash. But the reality is there's too many people today that think that they are in one place in terms of how everyone else views them, or more importantly, how they view themselves. And it takes someone to pull something out of you to see that there's something in you that can be a recognizable brand that the whole world stops to listen to if you just know what to do. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to David D. Simons, who is the founder of Kingdom Social Media, helping people actually take their annual salaries and turn those into things that they can be paid in one day, that compensation. And this is someone over the last 10 years has been helping people grow, changing their lives, and you get to hear from him right now. David, I want to welcome you to the show.
Michael, thank you so much, man. Wow. I'm amazed by the interview and already. I mean, we just getting started.
We just getting started.
Look at you, man.
Well, listen, I have to say this, David, before we go on this, I know you got so many gems and wisdom to share, but I just want to say, you know, I meet so many people who help people and they provide services, but something that when I first met you at an event, I just felt such a kindred spirit and just a warmth about you. And I can tell even the people that you work with, I can tell they're affected by you too, just your spirit, the way you carry yourself. And so it says a lot about who you are. And I just want to thank you for being one of those people out there in the market that is truly doing something because they care. You know, where did that come from? I mean, I feel that from you.
Wow, I'm humbled and thank you for recognizing that. I think for me, I have an empathetic heart, and I think God has just given me an ability to really, really see people for who they are and not judge. Because I think my background also plays into it, and I'll get into it a little bit. But basically, as a kid, I was the black sheep in the family. Someone who most people thought wouldn't amount to nothing. I was expected to never graduate.
Really?
People didn't expect me to amount to anything. They thought I would end up as a janitor. They thought I'd be end up in jail. I actually did.
Wow.
Stupid decisions that I made. I got expelled in my junior year of high school for cracking into the system and changing my grades.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you really get in there and change it?
I did.
What?
Yeah, and some other students found out and they snitched, and I'm glad they did eventually. But
wow. If they didn't snitch, you might have started a business that was totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's amazing, David. I came through a lot of challenging things as a young man too, and I think something that is amazing to me. When you come through certain things and you know you experience some level of pain, it's almost like you get a secret weapon that is able to discern things in people. You can feel when people are going through things, and you also understand what it feels like. And so when you grow, you want to stop people from feeling something that they don't have to. Would you say that that affects how you do business today?
That's so true. You know, I never looked at it like that, but it's so accurate, right? It's like I can feel them, I can hear them, I empathize. I know, and I never underestimate or overlook someone, because you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's dealing with. You don't know what challenge they could be facing.
Yeah.
And so it kind of creates this genuine empathy, you know, when
Yeah.
you've gone through pain and you've gone through your own suffering.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, this kind of brings us to something that I think you're so passionate about and skilled at doing is that, you know, there's so many people today that have a perception of themselves.
Right.
And we both know the reality is, you know, people see you the way you see you.
True.
So if I see myself as not of value, right? And sometimes people see themselves as not of value is because they haven't invested enough in themselves and put enough value in them to have a worth, right?
That's right.
So, you know, it seems like that you're passionate about finding people who don't really understand their value
Yeah.
and then building a bridge for them into something that they didn't even think was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit about what excites you about finding people who don't understand their value?
Yeah. I think like it's because I didn't see it in myself and now I want to make sure other people see it in them. I've always had a view of whether it was like the intern that nobody wanted to work with. I was like, no, that person, they got something.
Right.
You know, I want to help them. Or the person in school that nobody recognized. I was always picking them out and recognizing them. So in business, what's happened is, you know, whether it's our clients that feel like, David, can I really charge that?
Right.
I'm like, yes, you can.
Right.
Why? Why not? Why
Yeah.
not you?
Right.
So it's like for me, it's helping that person see what I see, but more importantly, what God sees in them.
Yeah.
That they're worth everything that they have to give to the market. And a lot of times that's the work that I really do. I mean, yes, there's the funnels, there's the strategy and all the stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, the biggest work that I do is I really help my clients to gain the belief in their value. And you believe it or not, these are also high-level people that sometimes question their own value and their own worth.
Yeah.
And I'm reminding them of how they're valuable and how they're able to be charging what they're worth in the marketplace.
Wow. When you think about that,
Yeah.
now I know we're getting into a lot of foundational things about who you are and how you help the world. And you know, the reality is you get into the strategic and tactical stuff.
Yes.
Right. You get into how to host a webinar, how to
Right.
do paid events. You get
Right.
into how to, you know, make offers, how to bring all that together to generate growth in someone's business.
For sure.
But when you think about and taking a step back for, you know, there's the saying of, I want to be careful not that I'm trying to turn losers into winners, but turning winners into champions.
Right.
But there is some people who think they are losers,
Yes.
but they're actually winners.
Yes.
So there's this kind of gray area, right?
Right.
So sometimes if you're stuck on the losers, sometimes the losers don't want the help.
Right.
Sometimes their mentality won't allow them to be helped. Some
True.
people don't want to change. Some
That's
people
true.
don't want your help, even though they need it.
Exactly.
But there's people who see themselves as losers that are really winning. How do you discern the difference so that people don't take advantage of what you're trying to do?
Discerning the difference, that's so key. One of the things that we do is we see the person's intention and the person's heart, right? Because
that's good.
not everybody wants to really help people, right? So we
true.
find out what is the true reason why you're doing this business. What is it that you really want to give to the world? So a lot of times we're asking questions like, what are the case studies? What are the student results that you have?
Right.
What's their success rate? Because that gives us a clue to the person of how committed they are to their vision. Because some people really don't care about, they just want the money.
Right.
And we're not about that person.
Exactly,
You know,
right.
we really want to see a transformation, people having a true transformation in their lives. So that's the first thing. We look at the success rate, how they're helping people. Then once we realize that, we're like, okay, well, if you're helping these people, we kind of give a mirror back. What is the result that they've been getting?
Right.
And some of them will say, hey, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, the same as they're getting body transformations. I'll give you one example. I don't think he'll mind. Shout out to Coach Ronnie. Coach Ronnie has a business that helps black men that are professionals and entrepreneurs that are 50 pounds and overweight, either 40 to 50 pounds overweight.
Really?
And I was just telling him, I'm like, you have an amazing program. Like, we need every black man that you want to serve to know you're there.
Right, right.
This is tremendous value. He knows he's good, but the market doesn't know because There's something hindering him from seeing him.
Yeah,
And that's what we came in to do, is to show him. And we're going through the process now, and I'm just literally showing him, like, you're tremendous.
Wow.
You've already got, I think he's served over, I don't want to misquote it, I think over 4,000 black men he's served.
Way. Wow.
Helped lose 20 pounds.
Wow,
But
that's great.
to the market, he's not as known.
And he's exting people's lives.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not just
Exactly.
business. That's actually changing the world when you start doing
Exactly.
stuff like that. Well,
Yeah.
so let's move a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
I now have found some treasure in the trash, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And we got someone that you can see has the potential.
Right.
They have the earmarks of someone that could use the things that you provide to go to a level that they didn't know was possible. What will you start to do to take them to that next level? So now we got the right person.
Right.
What is the framework that you use to now take this thing that was in the dumpster and now
Right.
you're trying to get them to see, no, you belong,
Right.
way up here for the world to see. What do you do? What is your framework to actually do that?
That's a great question. So first thing was, we like to really, really understand who they serve, right? Who are you serving on a deep level, and then understand the perceptive questions that most people don't ask. We're asking pre-framing questions. Why should they pick you? What is their deepest struggles in their mind that's blocking them from taking your offer or working with you? Like, there's a series of, I think, like 20 pre-framing questions. It's a very intensive process that we ask them to go through, and they have to go through all these questions and get clarity on that. Then after that, what we do is we next go into the offer. Like, what is the offer, the irresistible offer? And a lot of times what we find is people have a great offer, but they don't have a truly irresistible offer. So what are the things that are going to say, people are going to say, for example, I'm going to use Coach Ronnie as an example. One of the things we noticed when we went through the pre-framing and all this stuff is that most of the people in his offer, men wanted this, they said this phrase, I want to be able to take my shirt off at the beach. Like, that's a simple statement.
Right.
So when we're building the offer, what do we put in the offer?
Exactly, yeah.
The take your shirt off the beach system.
Yes.
Right? Subtle things. So the offer is built with all of the intention of understanding the market.
That's good.
And we're positioning what we know based off of the study, the data, those questions getting in their head.
Right.
What do they really, really, really want? And then we build an offer that's tailored to that, and it addresses all of the things. Another example is something that men desire, is to not be like, if a lady looks at them, and they want to be attractive to the opposite sex,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So we have another language or mechanism. We use IP, intellectual property, that's positioning that as well, because they don't want to just lose weight. They want to be able to not only lose weight, they want to be able to take the shirt off the beach. They want to be attracted to the opposite sex. They want to be able to open more business doors and all these things. So that's our process. We go through and we list out every single objection, and then we have a solution to every objection, and then we have an IP framework to every single objection. So when we build the offer and stack the offer, it destroys every single objection that somebody would have buying the offer.
Wow.
And then after that, then now is when we work on the webinar or the challenge, and then the webinar and the challenge further destroys any of those things. So by the time a person goes through our process, then they're able to say, I need this. This is an irresistible offer. I need to buy this offer.
Wow, I love that. I really love that, David, because what you're essentially saying is, and I really found this to be true. It's so exciting to hear you saying this, is because people make the mistake of starting with the webinar, starting with the announcement, starting with getting people in a room. And they've not determined the transformation that they're going to deliver, and they've not determined the mind or the thoughts that's in the mind of the person's, the problem they're trying to solve. It sounds like what you've done is you've created a system for how to extrapolate this information out of their customer and then turn it into intellectual property that is actually usable to make sure that the offer is almost built around their desire, and then back into the webinar to then put all the stories and transfer belief systems in their mind before they come to this offer, so you have an automatic win. Am I getting this?
You got that, man.
Wow.
Well
Wow.
said. Yes.
So do you find, like, who is the best type of person for you to be able to help? So people might be listening to this and saying, man, that sounds awesome.
Right.
But, will it work for me?
Right.
Like, if I wanted to work with David, do I have to be a coach? What if I have a service-based business? What if I have a business that is in retail? It's totally different. Does this only work for a certain genre?
Right.
What's your stance on that? Like, because everyone's offering something, but there is different types of business industries. How do you address that?
Yeah. We like to find people that have, and this is just good for anybody that has an offer in a unique niche, and it has a unique USP that you're able to sell to something where people, for example, I'll give another example. We have a client in the space where he's in construction, but it's government contracts in construction. So it's not just government contracts, it's government contracts in construction. There's no name, you can't think of a name for that. You can think of a government contracting expert. Shout out to Dr. Koana, right?
Yeah.
There's experts in the space, but you don't know of experts in specific niches. So we tell people when they're trying to build businesses and build craft offers, make sure you create, we like to call them category kings or category queens, putting themselves as the only logical option in that specific niche. So that's the first thing. We look for a niche focus that is so unique that nobody else will touch.
Wow. Right? And this brings us to the difference between, sometimes people say, I want to be the best.
Right.
But you're really talking about being the only.
That's it.
Right? And there's a distinction in that to have this mentality of how can I begin to refine and target down enough and niche down enough where I'm still serving the market, but I'm serving them from an angle that no one can get in that space with me.
Exactly.
So it sounds like, is it you're looking for people that already have that, or are you helping people create that?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
So if they don't have that, we show them how. For example, a gentleman came to us, and he's in the cloud space, like cloud computing, helping people to get cloud computing jobs.
Right.
I said, okay, that's cool. Cloud computing is great. It's a great field.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity. And it's not a saturated market. Not a lot of people are marketing in that space.
Yeah.
But I said, how can we make this sweeter? So we did some analysis, and his best clients are actually medical professionals. They're doctors, nurses, pharmacists that are tired and burnt out from working in hospitals. And they said, wow, I can make doctor money in the cloud space and not have to, lose my weekends and not be able to spend time with my kids. I can actually have that. And they're leaving the space. So we said, there's nobody doing this. This is a proven market. That you've already have proof. You already have social proof here. You already have a proven offer. You have great testimonials of doctors that have left think about that, they've left their medical license to do this.
Yeah.
So that would appeal to so that's an example. So he wasn't thinking that way.
Yeah.
He was thinking I want to just get this cloud repair company or cloud IT engineering to everybody. But we said, no, this is something gold you have here. So that's where my treasure and trash, I saw it and I said, no, this is clear. This is something that you could capitalize on. So that's a case where we helped to kind of facilitate it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people come to us already that already have these pieces in
and
order.
you just enhance.
Exactly.
Well, I want to touch on something briefly. So I really love what you're breaking down here, and I can tell you have a marketing mind, right?
Thank you, sir.
And true marketers, they're so marketing has an artistic side and it has a science side, right?
Right.
So some of it is artistic and creative, and then some of it is like the numbers tell you the truth, right? Like this is what. So when you're working with individuals and you're trying to help people go to the next level, what is your temperament or your approach to the place of data? So when I noticed sometime you were saying, looking at the numbers and looking at the research or talking to clients or doing taking them through some sort of survey, questionnaire. So what role in your mind does data have to play in all of this versus maybe the feeling I have about, I just feel like it's going to work. I'm passionate about it. Maybe it's something that it's meaningful to me, and I love to serve people in that way.
Right.
But how do you balance that passion side with the data side? What's your approach to that?
Absolutely. We actually have a framework that we look at. So we kind of mix the two, or the three things. We call it ERP. ERP stands for what excites you, what's relevant to the market, and where's the purchasing power.
Wow, okay.
So we look for those three things in any offer because we do want it to be the right from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
We do want to make sure that the market actually sees this as a problem that they want to have solved, and we do want the person to be a part of it, that they want them to execute with a form of some level of passion. It doesn't have to be through the roof, but it has to excite them enough to continue and do the long haul and the things that it will take to get this to the next level.
Right.
So that's what we first look at, but the data plays a big role in it because we're searching for data in the numbers, but we're also searching for data from the people, the humanistic data. Like what are the transformations that are happening?
Yeah.
We'll go through testimonials, go through watch videos, go through content, see what the testimonials are saying or see what people are saying in a space. We'll go through, obviously leverage AI, look at the data, what is the market size? What is the opportunity that we have here? What is the buying power? So we're looking at a lot of things in addition to the data as well as the artistic side of the marketing, right, and the positioning, and we're looking for a blue ocean, right? So meaning we're looking for those things that can separate us. So any separators that will allow us, and usually the more data we have, it helps us get clear on this is going to be something that's going to help us to separate us from the rest of the market and the people that are doing similar things.
Wow. So once you know the data backs it up, you're then able to surround that with the right stories, the right packaging to then help it become a vehicle that can create growth. So, when I think about what you're doing and I think about the people you do it for, a lot of individuals, there's the execution of all of this, right? So you teach them, you explain, you even can set some of it up, but at some point there's the doing of it. I need to hold the webinar. I'm going to hold the challenge. I need to do the mastermind. I need to actually do the thing. And now there's my level of speaking skill versus your level of speaking skill. How you interact with people, how personable you are, your personality. Are you likable? How you connect. What do you say to this part of it after I get my strategy down, my offer's dialed in, my messaging is dialed in, somebody still has to do it.
That's right.
How do you address this angle? What do you say to some of the people out there that want to know, what about that side?
Execution is everything. And we're really honest with people that you don't have to be the best presenter in the world, but you do have to have some level of, like as Russell Brunson calls it, attractive character, and develop that. And there is an execution that you just can't avoid. Like if you don't want to do a regular presentation every week, this is probably not the thing for you.
The wrong business.
You got to be willing. If you don't want to create content, there's some just non-negotiables. You don't want to create content on a regular basis. You don't want to jump on podcasts or do. This is how the market receives information. It's kind of like saying, I'm just speaking to someone that's considering this space, a coach, and they're thinking about building a brand online. It's kind of like saying, I am going to put my information in the phone book and hope somebody finds me. It's not. Those days are done. We're not in that era. You have to be willing to become a person of content. We've found that this is a common denominator of those that win. They're willing to create content. They're willing to put themselves out there. They have some camera confidence, and even if they're shy about it, they get over it. I learned this concept that I learned from Peter Voogd. He said, one of my mentors, he said, you need to get off, I'm going to speak to the camera here, you need to get off yourself and get on purpose. It's not about you. So when you get that mindset and understand that it's not about me anyway, like whatever I want to do, I have to get over myself and whatever insecurities I have about myself, showing up on camera, doing challenges. I don't like my nose, whatever it is.
Exactly.
It's not about me. This is going to hit real personal here, Michael. That for me, the reason I even do this work is because I believe that tied to everybody's life are a set of lives. I believe that God has created us in a way where Michael's life touches millions, right? Like whether known or unknown, my life may have a number on it. And some person watching this, your life may touch 1,000, 10,000, whatever that number is.
Right.
God has given us an assignment and our lives are tied to other people. So when you don't obey your assignment, you don't do what you're supposed to do, and you don't execute. So that this goes all the way back to being willing to do a webinar, or being willing to do a challenge.
Yeah.
And if you're supposed to do this, this is a call for you, this is the work you're supposed to do, you don't realize the impact of not doing your gift.
Wow.
The impact of not distributing that gift to the market. And it's actually selfish because I look at it like this. I always give this crazy scenario, but I want to paint the picture for people that if let's just say this guy is named John. John is supposed to be a chef, but he's decided to go into accounting and it was stable. It's something he's comfortable with. He's supposed to be a chef and then coach other people to become chefs.
Right.
John doesn't do that, and he just stays away and does his accounting thing. Now Lenny comes along. Lenny's misguided in his life, and he's wondering what his purpose is. But God put a design in John for him to do this because he knew it was going to touch Lenny's life. But God can't force us to do what he called us to do. So what happens is, because John just thinks it's about him and his family, and which is great, but he didn't obey that call that was inside of him. Lenny was supposed to meet John, but he now got into a life of drug abuse, and eventually, I know this is going to sound very morbid here, and he eventually took his life. Whose fault is that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a tie to that. God ties our lives to each other, but we'll never know the impact of us not doing the thing.
Yeah.
So this is the real work that I do.
Yeah.
I help people. I'm so passionate about this work because I know that there are lives tied on the other side. We have a client named Chef Lisa. She's helping people become personal chefs, making 6 figures as personal chefs. There are women tied to her life.
Yeah.
If she doesn't get her message out there, there's women that are hopeless and going into a path they were never supposed to go down.
Yeah.
But thankfully, she's answering her call. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, that is so, it's just so awesome that you're highlighting the effect of when we don't do what we should do, right? And I mean, I could just talk to you all day, David. I just love all this, right? I want to close with something though, because I know you gotta run, and I want to close with, when you think about this whole episode talking about the treasure in the trash, so to speak, and it's amazing that when we think about how all the things that we have access to, all the things that we have potential of doing. You talked a lot about God and some of that creative power we all have in terms of humanity and how we were made.
Right.
There's some people that don't understand how much can change in one moment. Now here at URCO, we talk about the CEO moment. The CEO moment is those times in our life where you can turn left or right. You can go up or down. You can make a decision. And those decisions lead to some sort of outcome, right? And so there's a scripture that says, the law is a lamp unto my feet, it's a light unto my pathway. Each one of these steps are decisions that take our life in a direction. For sure. Sometimes we don't see that whatever we do or don't do, it's a direction, right? You're not standing still. So what do you say to the individual who's watching this that is just not confident that one commitment, one investment, one meeting, one effort made can literally change the course of someone's life.
Yeah.
Because I think before they can benefit from all the value that you've just shared on this episode,
Right.
they've got to believe that literally one moment could change everything. Give me a final word on this.
Wow, man, this is such a powerful statement. I mean, I have so many moments in my life that have shaped that, and I'll go with the one that actually brings us here today. Right? There's a mutual mentor we share, and I had a choice to make an investment in myself, and actually, what's interesting, I want to give the backstory to this.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with Dr. Miles Monroe,
Yes.
okay. So Dr. Miles Monroe was one of my actual personal mentors.
Okay.
And this is about 2014, but it only happened because a friend of mine was his media guy. Shout out to Hubert Segura. And he said, Dave, you should join this program. I was like, I didn't have the investment mindset. I was in corporate America.
Yeah.
I didn't understand and like you're talking about, the gravity of one moment.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know about that. I put it off for almost a whole year. I didn't do anything. And then something dawned on me. I was like, you know what? Let me just do this. And it wasn't even a crazy investment. I was like, I don't know why I stalled.
Yeah. Right?
And I joined, and it was amazing. Dr. Miles Monroe was answering my questions directly. He's like, hey, I'm in a private jet right now on my way to this country, but I got your request for this. This is what I think you should do for your job. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that level of care.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening, I'm at a Lecrae and Andy Mineo concert, and I get the call that Dr. Miles Monroe had died in a plane crash.
Wow.
I was 4 months into the program. I not only felt pain for his family, his loved ones, all his mentees,
Yeah.
I felt pain for me.
Yeah.
Here's a man God was trying to send into my life, and for a year, I ignored it.
Wow.
I didn't see the opportunity. After that moment, it changed my whole mindset around investing in myself.
Wow.
And that's why I invest. When I see an opportunity, I invest. I'm in
Yeah.
a mastermind. And so the mastermind that brought us to connect together, when that opportunity came, that's what it was in my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm not missing what God has for me. And sometimes what God has for you, most times it's through a person.
Yeah.
He'll send a person into your life. Here's what I've learned, that when God wants to bless you, he sends a person. When the devil wants to curse you, he sends a person. So you got to recognize who the person is God's sending into your life. And a lot of times it will be uncomfortable. And we'll think that, oh, that can't be God. But the reality is that's God stretching you. And so I've made many investments that stretch me. I've gotten to many mentors that have allowed me to get into environments that have changed my absolute life. And one of those being our mutual mentor.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what pathway my life would have taken if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so I tell other people, like the biggest risk in life you'll take is not taking risk.
That is so powerful. Thank you for sharing such an intimate story about, how you came. That is truly a CEO moment. That really is. And I just want to thank you, David, so much for all that you've given to this episode. We got to do this again.
I'd love
we
to.
definitely got to do this
sir.
again. And,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for sharing. And I hope all of you that really has been watching this episode are so clear that there's just something that we have to really get, is that the people who try to define other people as worthless or someone that actually can't give value, they don't have the last say. At the end of the day, if we put value within ourselves, we become more valuable. But the first person that has to believe it is you. It's me. And when we understand that, and we work with people like David to help pull those things out of us and package it in a way where that value can be seen by others, people will pay us for it. And not that it's all about the money, but the reality is it's about providing the service that you can provide, providing the change, the transformation, the value that you can give the world, helping people's lives be better. And you just so happen to also need to make a living. And when you can put those two things together, it's one of the most rewarding feelings that you could ever have. And I hope you've benefited from everything that you've heard. Here at URCO, we charge, we expand, and we overcome until we reach the ultimate freedom. Until next time, God bless.
Understand, overcome, freedom ain't luck, your work's begun. You are a CEO in every season, it's time. achieve the ultimate.